What's up? It's a guy in a black hat here. Do you think Mustangs are overhyped, or do you think that they are secretly one of the most underrated cars that money can buy right now? Let's go ahead and hop into one and talk about it. All right, so we are in the car. Let's go ahead and start it up and leave the house. Nice little cold start. It's not too cold right now. All right, so let's jump into this, but we gotta do a little pull. Ooh. Rear was sliding. There's quite a bit of traffic right now. Not the best time to drive out, but I'm really making do with the time I got. Now, I want to jump right into it, guys. Whether you think they are underrated or overhyped, I kind of want to challenge your perspective a bit. Depending where you live, they definitely can get overhyped, or who you surround yourself with. On the other hand, do they truly deserve to be overhyped? Or are they truly underrated, you know? In my personal opinion, I truly believe the Mustang is one of the most affordable, underrated performance cars you could own. That is my belief. Depending where you live in Texas, or one of the states where it's sunny, you're not gonna have that experience, I feel like, because everyone has one. Like, you see this car at every car meet you go to, at every gas station you go to, there's probably a Mustang there. But for me, it's not like that. In fact, there's rare times when I'll see a Mustang. But here we have really common BMWs, Audis, Subarus are really common here, and it's a lot different of a car culture. Dude, I just got myself into like the worst traffic. Holy. Honestly, if we compare the Mustang to other cars like the Camaro or the Dodge Charger or Challenger, they don't sell nearly as many units as Mustang does. Now, recently, I feel like the Charger and the Challenger have also gotten overhyped. I feel like if it ain't a Hellcat, I wouldn't want it. Just seeing a Scat Pack is kind of boring now. Anything lower than an SRT, gotta go. And with Camaros, they have some jokes about them too, where, they have bad visibility. But overall, I feel like it's a solid car. But for this generation, the S550 versus Camaro's 6th generation, I feel like the S550 really takes the cake over them for a lot of reasons. Unless you're planning on staying naturally aspirated, then, Camaro kind of takes the cake there. What really doesn't help Mustang's case, all the memes about us not mixing with crowds, they just really don't help our case. But aside from that, what do you really hear about Mustangs that is bad, Like, at least for this generation, the Coyotes especially, well, like, there's not a lot that's really said that's bad about them, except that, they lose control, leaving cars in coffin. And, I mean, is that really Mustang's fault? Like, is it really that these cars were made so poorly? Or is it that they have sold so many units and they are so accessible to the public, some people just can't drive? Now, when I was inexperienced with this car, I lost a little bit of traction, I won't lie. I didn't crash, I didn't hit anything. It did show that, like, I didn't have, full experience with the real wheel drive car. This is my first one. 460 horsepower, hit the gas while it's slightly damp outside. It doesn't mix, it really doesn't mix. You just have to be smart, and that's with every car. Now, some cars kind of neutralize this by having a good all-wheel drive system. It doesn't mean that person's a better driver, so it doesn't mean this car is a poorly made car. Overall, the Mustang just outsells all its competitors in production, and then on top of that, it's usually the most affordable option out of the three. Dodge does really well with branding its cars and, making its different, tiers. What is it called? Oh, yep. Some fun roads. There might be black ice, I'm not gonna go too crazy. Yeah, I am not trusting this road, but it's too icy to be going crazy on these roads. But Dodge does really good with branding its cars. They be making a package and upselling it like crazy for what you get. And every company does this, but I feel like Dodge takes it to another level with like the Scat Pack and, giving it like that bee theme, or the Hellcat, putting a little kitty on the side. It's cute. With Mustangs, we have the snake, but a lot of other brands don't really have that. Most of the time, it's just like, yo, here, it's just less numbers or an extra letter. Have fun. I just think Mustang beats out its competition. I think Camaro gives it a little bit of a run for its money, but Dodge, not at all. I don't think you can compare a Dodge to a Mustang. Now, would I rather have a Hellcat over a GT? Maybe. It really depends on what I'm planning on doing with the car, because if I had Hellcat money, I could really put that money into a Coyote and make it way faster than a Hellcat. In fact, it's probably gonna gap some supercars at that point. Now, if I wanted, you know, to show off my car and get some look and break some necks, I think the Hellcat would be obviously the better way to go. One issue with the Mustang is no matter what you do with the Mustang, you always at the end of the day have a Mustang. You're not gonna break any necks. That's one thing that really ties into it being underrated, is that you don't break any necks with this car. Like, it's a Mustang. It looks like an EcoBoost. No matter what you do to it, nobody's gonna look your way. And it's a lot more common than a lot of these other sport cars. Holy shit. Yeah, I gotta slow my ass down. There's a Beamer behind me, so I was trying to have some fun. It's an E36, but it is a soft top, so kind of ass. I genuinely do believe that a lot of the overhypeness comes from that, of them being overproduced. You find videos of them spinning out and crashing, and then at the same time, most people that buy this car, since it is an affordable car, they don't put the money into this car to see what it can become. Nobody really unleashes the potential of this car. And when it's overhyped, it mainly stems from that, because nobody's talking about how Mustangs are able to compete in Formula Drift. Nobody talks about them competing in 24-hour races now. Nobody talks about them winning drag race competitions like this, man, like easy. Like, it's not even a competition at that point. So there is like some valid criticisms, but I feel like it really doesn't take away from what the car actually is. I mean, you don't see a lot of people saying a Viper is overhyped, or a lot of people complaining when they see a Dodge Viper at a car meet, and that really stems from its rarity, right? It doesn't stem from anything else. The car is rare, and that's it. More Vipers crashed out of their productions than Mustangs crashed from their productions. I'm pretty sure it was something like 30% of all Vipers crashed leaving the dealership from when they were bought. And it's like, that I feel like would factor more into a poor car than, you know, Mustangs crashing. However, I don't think a Viper's a bad car. I don't think having money makes you a good driver. Viper's not a car for everyone. There's people who collect cars, but they're not good drivers. Those two don't tie together. Just because you're a car enthusiast doesn't mean you're Max Verstappen. That's just not how it works. A lot of the people now, they don't know what a racing line is. They can't define an oversteer and an understeer. And I mean, it is what it is. You got people at takeovers trying to drift their cars with traction control on. But that doesn't make the car bad. It's the driver. It's always the driver. But it doesn't mean that every car is also for every person. You can be a good driver, but the car could still feel not good to you. You know, that's one thing about a car that I feel like is bad, is when the community fully praises it for everything. I don't know where I'm going with this. This is why I really urge you, if you like a car and you like everything about it, what's being said, to first test drive it. And I mean really test drive it. If you're test driving it like you're gonna daily drive it in traffic, you're not really test driving it. You gotta test drive it like you're trying to see if the motor's gonna blow up when you hit the red line. That's the only way to test drive these type of cars. Now be careful doing that with the Mustang, because and you didn't hear that from me. Honestly, yeah, drive to your experience though, because if you start driving a Mustang like that and you have no experience with rear wheel drive, it's kind of a problem. We've already talked about the performance, the versatility, but I honestly want to talk about what really makes these cars underrated. With such a big production number comes with a ton of versatility in parts. You know, I have a friend, Kamal, go sub to his channel, he's in the description. I have a friend, Kamal, and he bought his E63 Mercedes AMG. It's a beautiful car, it feels great, it sounds great, but it has no aftermarket parts. The first thing I did when he bought that car is I was like, yo, I'm gonna buy him a birthday present. So I started looking up. I was trying to find some like extensions for the paddle shifters, and I think it was some other part that I can't remember. Some simple mods. I couldn't find any. How do you not have paddle shift extenders for a car that's been out for like 6+ years? I don't even know when their platform released, and you don't have certain parts. It's honestly insane. With the Mustang, this isn't a problem at all. What the fuck? What? It isn't a problem at all, because you have multiple companies making the same parts, and I've talked about this in my other videos. It is unmatched. I have not seen another car would be this customizable and have this much versatility. You could build this for anything you want to build it for. The track, the drifting, street racing, whatever you want to build it for, and have multiple companies supporting aftermarket parts. There's like 20, 30 different companies that make the same type of front headlights for the car. Like, if you want a different style headlight, they make it. I know Ford gets a lot of shit, you know, found on the road dead for the reliability, but these are probably some of the most reliable cars you could own, especially in the performance area. We don't have to do no crank hubs, you know, we don't have to change anything for reliability. These come out of factory, they are great. So they're reliable stock, and once you start modding them, they can handle the power you throw at them. Purely everything you do for this car is just because you want to upgrade it. You want it to feel slightly, you know, stiffer. You want it to feel more comfortable. Like, anything you do to it is gonna be from your preference, rather than, okay, this is an issue I have to fix because Ford skipped out on this. And that's truly what makes these cars so great. They sound great, they're reliable, they're affordable. You could build them into anything, but they're hated on because they're affordable and they're overproduced to the point where, you know, you see them every day. There's practically, you know, common traffic at this point, especially depending where you live. But do they deserve the hate from that? I'm genuinely curious on what your guys' thoughts are. Like, do you think they are overhyped? Do you think they're underrated? Did I change your perspective a bit? I'm just genuinely curious what other people think. When you see a Mustang, it's just another Mustang. You don't care. Like, some people don't, like, couldn't care less about seeing a Mustang. And I mean, it is what it is. It's not a Corvette. You know, it doesn't break necks like that. It's not a GTR. All right, guys, bad news. My camera overheated, so it stopped recording. But I feel like I got everything I wanted to across. So let me know your thoughts. This is my car. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm just doing my outro. I have like 4% left and it's overheating, so I appreciate everyone watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and let me know what you guys think. Problem at all. What the fuck? What?